Welcome to my channel, good people. Jack Sputnik here. Today we are talking about Sigma 135mm f1.4, an amazing piece of glass. And I gotta say, I am in love with this lens, but there are some important discoveries that you would like to know for sure before buying that lens. So stay with me, and later on I'll share some very interesting discoveries about this glass. Let's start with the basics. So let's talk about the quality and build of this lens. So basically, as you would expect from Sigma Art series, this is a very well made lens. So everything works smoothly here. You have clickless and declickless, sorry for my inventions, word inventions here, mechanism here, so it can make clicks or work more as a video lens. To me, the most important part is that you have AF, MF switch, so you can switch easily between autofocus and manual focus. You have two programmable buttons, and what is also important, and you will probably like to know, that the lens thread is 105mm. So I'm wondering how much would will the filters for that lens cost, but that's another story. If you can afford this lens, then yeah. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Now, in the back here we have this rubber sealing here, so that's great because it's weather sealed, and pretty much that's it. It weighs 1.4 kilos and it is a very well designed lens, no doubt. You also have this big lens hood that I will also mention later in this review, because this is important to use it, and I'll show you later why. But now again, stick to the basics. So sharpness of this lens is very good in the center of the frame, wide open 1.4, you can see for yourself, is really sharp. In the corners you can obviously see some drop of sharpness at 1.4 and some drop of contrast, but still it's nothing dramatic. It is really nice. Now if you want to have like optimal sharpness, as you can see, something around 2.2 is a perfect spot where a lens starts to be sharp in a whole frame. Now, distortion is another very important category in this case. However, it's not an architectural lens, so maybe not the most important. However, distortion is visible. There is slight pincushion distortion, but really slight, as I said, so nothing to talk about really. Now let's talk how does it perform in close-up image. So you can come as close as 110 centimeters from your object. So this is not very close, but pretty close. At 135 you can already get some really nice close-up images. And as you can see at 1.4, it is a little soft, but acceptable, I would say. However, in that case, having like 135mm lens at 1.4 and making close-up image wide open doesn't make any sense. So if you stop it down to 2.8, you're good to go. It's sharp, it's good, it works. Now, next category is vignetting. Vignetting on this lens at 1.4 obviously is visible because it's a huge piece of glass and this is full frame lens, so you would expect that to happen. But it's very easy to remove with in post-production or just using correction profile. Now the other category here, and this is one of the important categories to me, is how does it perform against harsh light. So I promise to talk a little bit about this lens hood here, and this is the time to talk about it, because in more synthetic tests, like when I just when I film sun through the tree, you have flaring, but this flaring is something you would expect. It's a typical flaring for this kind of focal length. It is good, it is not dominating. The drop of contrast is visible, but again, nothing really to talk about too much. However, in real life, if you take photos of your models against the light, let's say like me, you live in a sunny country, I live in southern Portugal. I'm not Portuguese, but I live in southern Portugal, so you can see that when the light hits the front glass, it's a huge glass, and you can have very heavy, flaring and very heavy drop of contrast. So that's where this huge lens hood comes into the game. It is very important if you do this kind of sessions to use it, and then you will save some of your photos. Important tip. Now, before we get to my discoveries, which are connected, I'll just give you a word here to bokeh. Let's talk about star effect. Star effect at f1.11 and both f11, f16 and f16 is nice. Those stars are big, bold, and very, very nice looking. I like it, not everybody will, but me personally, I like those bold and very even star effect. Talking about bold stuff, now let's move to the most important part of this test, which is bokeh, because this is what you will be buying this lens for, to have this, dreamy images, to, create this personal bubble, personal space for your models, to cut them out of the reality. However, it's not the only usage scenario, because you can always stop it down and, work differently with this lens. But one of the main reasons this lens is made is for this blurry background. And blurry background, I like it. Let me put it straight, I like it, but not every photographer will like it. It is big and bold. You can see a little bit of cat eye effect. Some people may see a little bit of soap bubble effect, and this is not for everyone's taste, okay? So to me, it's beautiful, it stands out, it's different. And in general, this lens stands out as a very bold product, because it's like, we didn't talk about autofocus yet, but it is like autofocus 135 1.4, so that's very unique. Now you can see for yourself that this lens is producing beautiful images. However, as I said, it's not going to be for everyone, so you may want to review once again like this part of the video before making decisions if you really like this effect. However, talking about autofocus on this lens works flawlessly. I was really worried because 135mm and 1.4 might be difficult, but it really is like, exactly where it should be. In portrait work, it detects your eye easily, or face easily. So it is also very silent and very precise. I tested it on A7 Mark IV, my private camera. So with that setup, I was super happy about the results. Portrait work with this lens is just super easy and super nice and super smooth. When it comes to focus breathing, it is very nicely controlled. There is some focus breathing visible, but I like the look of it, like how it changes, focus from one part to another part of the image. And most of videographers will appreciate this, to have this option of clickless mechanism and this beautiful refocusing. So to sum up, this is not lens for everybody, but if you want to stand out, this is lens for you. And if you think that this is lens just to make this, creamy bokeh, just to, like cut your models out of the background or out of the reality, because like, for example, you want to, take photos as beautiful as possible in not the nicest scenarios, not the nicest environment, then this lens definitely is for you. But if you think this is only for that, you are wrong, because you can stop it down and you can show some of the context, or you can walk away from your models and show some of the context. So it really depends on the skills of the photographer. So I would say this lens performs exceptionally. I really like it, and I even asked my friends from Sigma how much would it cost if I want to get it, and this is like clear proof, because I test so many lenses, and most of them I just keep them on the shelf, or I sell them, or I give them out. But this lens, I would love to stay with this lens. So this is big recommendation. Talking about big recommendation, there's a company called Benfy, I don't know how to read it. You will see this, logo of them here, and some B-roll of their products. They have sent me some products that every photographer will need sooner or later: USB-C hubs and SD card readers, USB-C card readers, micro SD card readers, and they make cool stuff. This video is not sponsored by any means, but they just sent me some of the goodies from their offer. So if you want to get some good stuff, Benfy, type it in on your Amazon store, and you can find this reliable, not expensive, but very well made stuff from them. I used it, I tested it, and really works. They also sent me like HDMI to USB-C cable, which is cool to connect your phone maybe to projector or television or this kind of stuff. So really cool stuff, and you know, trustworthy, well made, and inexpensive. That's a good recommendation, I hope. So guys, to sum up, great lens, and I hope I recommended it enough. There's no sponsorship, it's just a lovely piece of glass, and I would like to see more of that in the future. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please leave thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, comment below, ask, and I'll try to answer, or if not me, other you know, members of the community. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. No, I see you guys in the next one. Cheers.